So I got a bit of a confession to make on this one. I got a question on money lending apps from someone on one of our live events, and I have to admit that I wasn't across all of the solutions here, all of the offerings that were available, but I wanted to help them out. So I started doing some research, and I have to say that what I found out absolutely terrified me. Now, I get that cost of living is a thing at the moment, and there are a lot of people struggling. So it's no surprises that more people are turning to these sorts of money lending apps. But these things like payday loans, fast credit loans, they're insanely expensive. Some of them are quoting rates of 100%. And there are a lot of stories where people are talking about rates in the thousands of percent. I found one that had a short-term loan, which is a very low loan, which is only $80, but the loan was literally 16 million%. Now, I know it may not seem like it, but I can tell you for sure that it's a lot harder to get out of this sort of debt cycle than it is to find a solution to avoid getting into it in the first place. And I think if you're doing research in this space, there are some things that you should think about to try and avoid these lending apps altogether and avoid these extra costs. My top tips for this are, firstly, speak to any suppliers, bill providers, or debt providers that you've got. Oftentimes, if you speak to them and let them know that you're having financial challenges, they'll help you find solutions. Particularly with debt providers, they often don't want you to be defaulting, so they may have some leniency there. Even a temporary pause on payments can allow you to stash a bit of cash or build some up so that you can crack in and move forward from there without getting penalty interest, or late fees. You can also look at debt consolidation loans or balance transfers if your credit allows. Particularly with these 0% balance transfers, they can be super helpful to ditch out your interest costs and mean that every dollar that you pay on your debt is actually smashing down the amount that you owe instead of just covering debt interest. If that fails, or if you can't access credit, then you might look at one of these debt negotiation services. It'll take a bit of Googling, and I'm reluctant to put any recommendations on here, but there are providers that will negotiate with your creditors on your behalf. This is particularly for people that have a lot of personal debt. They can help you reduce your interest costs, get pauses on payments. I've used these with a couple of our clients, and they have been pretty effective to help people get out of that cycle. And the final one, and it's not necessarily an easy one, but is around budgeting hard. Now, you are going to have some necessary costs, which are going to be inflexible. You're going to have some discretionary costs in there as well. Even budgeting in the short term and having a short burst where you batten down the hatches, build up a bit of extra cash to get back in front, knowing that it's only a short-term thing, can help you break out of that cycle.